Language Foundations Vocabulary Flashcards, helping you achieve understanding.
Twist together or entwine into a confusing mass. Change texture so as to become matted and felt-like. Mounting consisting of a border or background for a picture. A foundation, usually on soft ground, consisting of an extended layer of reinforced concrete. Not reflecting light, not glossy. A photograph with a matte finish. The property of having little or no contrast, lacking highlights or gloss. Sports equipment consisting of a piece of thick padding on the floor for gymnastic sports. A master's degree in teaching. A mass that is densely tangled or interwoven. A mat of weeds and grass. A small pad of material that is used to protect surface from an object placed on it. A thick flat pad used as a floor covering. Twist together or entwine into a confusing mass. The child entangled the cord. Entrap. Twist together or entwine into a confusing mass. Make more complicated or confused through entanglements. Something jumbled or confused. Utter in an angry, sharp, or abrupt tone. The guard snarled at us. An angry, vicious expression. A vicious, angry growl. Make a snarling noise or move with a snarling noise. Bullets snarled past us. Twist together or entwine into a confusing mass. The child entangled the cord. Something jumbled or confused. A tangle of government regulations. Disarrange or rumple, dishevel. Force into some kind of situation, condition, or course of action. Tangle or complicate. A twisted and tangled mass that is highly interwoven. They carved their way through the tangle of vines. Change texture so as to become matted and felt-like. The fabric felted up after several washes. A fabric made of compressed matted animal fibers. Cover with felt. Felt a cap. Mat together and make felt-like. Felt the wool. Change texture so as to become matted and felt-like. Change texture so as to become matted and felt-like. Change texture so as to become matted and felt-like. Change texture so as to become matted and felt-like. Not reflecting light, not glossy. A photograph with a matte finish. The property of having little or no contrast, lacking highlights or gloss. A mixture of sulfides that forms when sulfide metal ores are smelted. Change texture so as to become matted and felt-like. Mounting consisting of a border or background for a picture. A covering of coarse fabric, usually of straw or hemp. Often followed by of a large number or amount or extent. A foundation, usually on soft ground, consisting of an extended layer of reinforced concrete. A flat float, usually made of logs or planks, that can be used for transport or as a platform for swimmers. Make into a raft. Raft these logs. Transport on a raft. Raft wood down a river. Travel by raft in water. A foundation, usually on soft ground, consisting of an extended layer of reinforced concrete. A deflated pneumatic tire. Freight car without permanent sides or roof. A suite of rooms usually on one floor of an apartment house. Lacking the expected range or depth. Not designed to give an illusion or depth. A flat two-dimensional painting. In a forthright manner, candidly or frankly. Came out flat for less work and more pay. Not modified or restricted by reservations. A flat refusal. Not reflecting light, not glossy. Flat wall paint. Lacking stimulating characteristics, uninteresting. A flat joke. Lacking taste or flavor or tang. Having a surface without slope, tilt in which no part is higher or lower than another. A flat desk. Sounded or spoken in a tone unvarying in pitch. Stretched out and lying at full length along the ground. Found himself lying flat on the floor. Flattened laterally along the whole length, e.g., certain leaf stalks or flatfishes. A level tract of land. The salt flats of Utah. A musical notation indicating 1/2 step lower than the note named. A shallow box in which seedlings are started. Commercially inactive. Flat sales for the month. Having a relatively broad surface in relation to depth or thickness. Flat computer monitors. Having lost effervescence. Flat beer. Horizontally level. A flat roof. Lacking contrast or shading between tones. Of a musical note, lowered in pitch by one chromatic semitone. B flat. Scenery consisting of a wooden frame covered with painted canvas, part of a stage setting. Not reflecting light, not glossy. A photograph with a matte finish. The property of having little or no contrast, lacking highlights or gloss. Not reflecting light, not glossy. Tangled in a dense mass. Tried to push through the matted undergrowth. Inactivity, showing an unusual lack of energy. The property of having little or no contrast, lacking highlights or gloss. The property of having two dimensions. A deficiency in flavor. It needed lemon juice to sharpen the flatness of the dried lentils. A want of animation or brilliance. The almost self-conscious flatness of Hemingway's style. The property of having little or no contrast, lacking highlights or gloss. The property of having little or no contrast, lacking highlights or gloss. Sports equipment consisting of a piece of thick padding on the floor for gymnastic sports. A master's degree in teaching. Darkened with overcast. A dull sky. Make numb or insensitive. Become less interesting or attractive. So lacking in interest as to cause mental weariness. A dull play. Slow to learn or understand, lacking intellectual acuity. Although dull at classical learning, at mathematics he was uncommonly quick. Being or made softer or less loud or clear. The dull boom of distant breaking waves. Deaden a sound or noise, especially by rapping. Not clear and resonant, sounding as if striking with or against something relatively soft. The dull thud. Make dull or blunt. Too much cutting dulls the knife's edge. Of business, not active or brisk. Business is dull, or slow. Become dull or lustreless in appearance, lose shine or brightness. The varnished table top dulled with time. Blunted in responsiveness or sensibility. A dull gaze. Emitting or reflecting very little light. A dull glow. Lacking in liveliness or animation. He was so dull at parties. Make dull in appearance. Age had dulled the surface. Make less lively or vigorous. Middle age dulled her appetite for travel. Not having a sharp edge or point. The knife was too dull to be of any use. Not keenly felt. A dull throbbing. Of color, very low in saturation, highly diluted. Dull greens and blues. Twist suddenly so as to sprain. The wrestler twisted his shoulder. A sharp strain on muscles or ligaments. Cause, a plastic object, to assume a crooked or angular form. Twist the dough into a braid. Twist or pull violently or suddenly, especially so as to remove something from that to which it is attached or from where it originates. Form into a spiral shape. The cord is all twisted. Turning or twisting around, in place. With a quick twist of his head he surveyed the room. A miniature whirlpool or whirlwind resulting when the current of a fluid doubles back on itself. A circular segment of a curve. An interpretation of a text or action. To move in a twisting or contorted motion, especially when struggling. Extend in curves and turns. The path twisted through the forest. A hairdo formed by braiding or twisting the hair. The act of winding or twisting. A jerky pulling movement. Any clever maneuver. A sharp bend in a line produced when a line having a loop is pulled tight. An unforeseen development. Practice sophistry. Change the meaning of or be vague about in order to mislead or deceive. Don't twist my words. The act of rotating rapidly. It broke off after much twisting. Do the twist. Form into twists. Social dancing in which couples vigorously twist their hips and arms in time to the music was popular in the 1960s. They liked to dance the twist. Turn in the opposite direction. Twist one's head. Twist and press out of shape. Form into a spiral shape. Make false by mutilation or addition, as of a message or story. Effect as in thought or feeling. Alter the shape of something by stress. Spin, wind, or twist together. Intertwine the ribbons. Form into a spiral shape. Arrange or coil around. A lightweight cord. Make by twisting together or intertwining. twine a rope. Lay aside, abandon, or leave for another. The car changed lanes. Cause to change, make different, cause a transformation. The discussion has changed my thinking about the issue. Exchange or replace with another, usually of the same kind or category. He changed his name. An event that occurs when something passes from one state or phase to another. The change was intended to increase sales. Become different in some particular way, without permanently losing one's or its former characteristics or essence. Her mood changes in accordance with the weather. Give to, and receive from, one another. Would you change places with me? Become deeper in tone. His voice began to change when he was 12 years old. Change from one vehicle or transportation line to another. She changed in Chicago on her way to the East Coast. A difference that is usually pleasant. It is a refreshing change to meet a woman mechanic. A different or fresh set of clothes. She brought a change in her overnight bag. A relational difference between states, especially between states before and after some event. He attributed the change to their marriage. A thing that is different. He inspected several changes before selecting one. Change clothes. Put on different clothes. Coins of small denomination regarded collectively. He had a pocketful of change. Money received in return for its equivalent in a larger denomination or a different currency. He got change for a 20 and used it to pay the taxi driver. Remove or replace the coverings of. Father had to learn how to change the baby. The action of changing something. The change of government had no impact on the economy. The balance of money received when the amount you tender is greater than the amount due. I paid with a 20 and pocketed the change. The result of alteration or modification. There were marked changes in the lining of the lungs. Undergo a change. Become different in essence, losing one's or its original nature. She changed completely as she grew older. An event that involves rising to a higher point, as in altitude or temperature or intensity, etc. Framework used for support or display. Education or instruction in the fundamentals of a field of knowledge. He lacks the foundation necessary for advanced study. Lowest support of a structure. A woman's undergarment worn to give shape to the contours of the body. The fundamental assumptions from which something is begun or developed or calculated or explained. The act of starting something for the first time, introducing something new. The foundation of a new scientific society. An institution supported by an endowment. The basis on which something is grounded. There is little foundation for his objections. Lowest support of a structure. The fundamental assumptions from which something is begun or developed or calculated or explained. Preliminary preparation as a basis or foundation. We are prepared today because of groundwork that was done 10 years ago. Lowest support of a structure. The basic structure or features of a system or organization. A terrorist network intensely opposed to the United States that dispenses money and logistical support and training to a wide variety of radical Islamic terrorist groups, has cells in more than 50 countries. Of low birth or station, base is archaic in this sense. Base-born wretches with dirty faces. Use purified cocaine by burning it and inhaling the fumes. Lowest support of a structure. It was built on a base of solid rock. A support or foundation. The base of the lamp. The most important or necessary part of something. A place that the runner must touch before scoring. Illegitimate. Numeration system, the positive integer that is equivalent to 1 in the next higher counting place. A phosphoric ester of a nucleoside, the basic structural unit of nucleic acids, DNA or RNA. A lower limit. Serving as or forming a base. The painter applied a base coat followed by 2 finishing coats. The fundamental assumptions from which something is begun or developed or calculated or explained. Linguistics, the form of a word after all affixes are removed. The place where you are stationed and from which missions start and end. The stock of basic facilities and capital equipment needed for the functioning of a country or area. The industrial base of Japan. Having or showing an ignoble lack of honor or morality. That liberal obedience without which your army would be a base rabble. Any of various water-soluble compounds capable of turning litmus blue and reacting with an acid to form a salt and water. Bases include oxides and hydroxides of metals and ammonia. Not adhering to ethical or moral principles. Base and unpatriotic motives. Installation from which a military force initiates operations. The attack wiped out our forward bases. Use as a basis for, found on. Base a claim on some observation. A flat bottom on which something is intended to sit. A tub should sit on its own base. Anatomy, the part of an organ nearest its point of attachment. The base of the skull. Debased, not genuine. An attempt to eliminate the base coinage. Electronics, the part of a transistor that separates the emitter from the collector. Situate as a center of operations. We will base this project in the new lab. The bottom or lowest part. The base of the mountain. The bottom side of a geometric figure from which the altitude can be constructed. The base of the triangle. The principal ingredient of a mixture. Glycerinated gelatin is used as a base for many ointments. Used of metals, consisting of or alloyed with inferior metal. Base coins of aluminum.
Become our student and get access to effective and free educational materials. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to become a part of our growing YouTube community and to learn English effectively.